Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table, a slightly different angle than usual because we need to fit some more stuff in. We're going to be reviewing the PhantomPak. This is a new backpack case for the P1, the P2 and the P3. But before we do that, this is the kitchen table, and the tradition on the channel is that we have a little beverage to discuss all matters drone. There's been a lot of coffee on the table lately, a lot of early mornings, but we're having a mellow time today, and this is a fantastic Argentinian Malbec Bonardo called El Monstruo de las Montañas, basically the Andean Yeti. But far from being monstrous, it's really very nice indeed. If you can get hold of it, do. So cheers. Oh, fantastic. Yes, so the guys at Bestem USA, you may remember they sent through a while back, I did a review on their kind of all-in-one quick release prop guards, which I thought, if you use prop guards, which I don't, but I thought they were particularly sort of high quality, really high quality manufacturing, really decent quality plastics, excellent sort of molding, not 3D printed, etc., etc. And they got in touch and said, look, we've got this new product called the PhantomPak. Can we send one for review? And I said yes, and because I had high hopes that it would have you know, a similar quality feel. So what we're going to do is going to have a look at it. We're going to go over kind of fit and finish and some of the things I like and perhaps don't like about it. Have a look at how you can store things inside, and importantly, how you can adjust it to store to carry a P2 or P1 and also a P3. So a few different angles today. So let's start by having a little bit of a tour and looking at construction and quality. So here we go. This is the PhantomPak backpack style case. Have a quick tour around. As you can see, straps. Nice touch is the addition of kind of a chest strap here. I use this on my camping backpack. It actually can help to take a little bit of the strain off your shoulders. So that's a nice touch to see. The usual kind of webbing and adjustable buckles there. I would have liked it if these shoulder straps had been a little bit thicker. They are padded, but you know, I wouldn't probably want to travel for enormous distances with this. They do have a contour shape, if you notice there, so they don't just come there's been some thought put into those. Now the back has it does have this isn't padded, but it does mean that if it's against your back, there's a little bit of a channel for airflow. But to be honest, if you're wearing a t-shirt or something, you know, that's not really going to do too much, although this side vents here are okay. So that's okay. You know, I don't plan on hiking over miles and miles, so I might have wanted something a bit more padded if I wanted to go really long distances in that. Otherwise, some nice sturdy feet at the base here, actually. You know, really hard. They look like they're well secured in, so it'll stand up this way, and a fairly, you know, well kind of riveted on webbing and nice sort of rubbery hand grip handle at the top. It's a sort of a sideways zip. One thing I really like about this, some quite nice attention to detail. They tell me that the outer fabric-y kind of covering is water resistant. It's not waterproof. I think the direct quote from them was, don't throw it in a lake. But it's water resistant, so if you are out and about and you get caught in a rain shower, it's not going to suddenly just go straight through. And together with that, as well as a water resistant cover, what I thought was quite nice is, I don't know if you can see here on the zip, it's actually a fairly good quality zip in that it's got like this vinyl cover. So actually that's going to provide you a reasonable amount of protection from sort of rain as well, and any sort of accidental splashing, and also dust. Which is a thing that people forget about. You really don't want too much of that in. And the zipper has a locking kind of ring there, so if you wanted to take this as carry-on, which I believe it will fit, double check the dimensions for your aircraft that you're going to fly on, of course, and your airline, but it's been designed so that almost everybody, I think, should accept it as hand baggage, carry-on, whatever you want to call it. The case itself is constructed of, you know, there is a bit of giving it rigid material, underneath the sort of fabric covering. And it's surprisingly rigid. Although the lid itself has some give, because of the construction on the inside, it's particularly strong. And if we cut away now, we can see my son, who's about to go off for a 2-night cub camp, but I got him to stand on it and jump up and down. And it didn't give at all. There's no, you know, there's these ribs here kind of compress in, but when you're actually putting some weight on, you can't do that. So let's have a look at the inside construction. So the zips come round to the back, and it's a sort of it's a hinge like this. And there we go. So what's quite nice is there's a little diagram of the layout if you weren't sure about what was designed to work with what, and it also tells you how to change the layout for the P3, which we'll go into in more detail. But basically it's all constructed out of this very high density foam material. This is the block that you put in if you're using it with a P3, but I'll show you now. I'm going to try and compress it. It's very difficult to do. Now, okay, I don't go to the gym quite as often as Colin Gwynn from 3DR does, but you know, even so, that's pretty dense, good quality, kind of impact resistant foam. And it's been laid out in a, as you can see, they've gone for a fairly simple approach of the aircraft rests in here inside the square made out by these. The arms would go here, and then you've got room for accessories around. So what we'll do now is let's have a cut through. We'll put the P2 on some gear in it and have a look what it looks like when it's been filled. Okay, so I've loaded it up with my Vision Plus in this sort of the P1, P2 configuration, but I've also put some of the other gear for my P2 H3 3D in there, just so you can see how it all kind of works. Phantom obviously goes in the middle. These are designed so that the top of the shell is not proud, so any pressure coming down on top of this plate here is resting against these high density foam blocks and keeping everything safe. You've also got very cutaways here and here and here and here, so that it protects excuse me, protects the top of the transmitter and allows plenty of access for the motor shaft, so you're not going to get anything kind of pressing down on any of these pressure points, which is pretty neat. Little touches I quite like. You've got room for a full set of props in there, and it says two spare. You could probably sneak 3 or 4 in and another couple dotted around. You can store 3 batteries easily. 1 in the aircraft, it will fit, and then in this side there are 2, and they are really tight, so they're well held. Two shaped squares where you can put the batteries in and put them in very tight, and they fit flush against these outer walls, so they're very secure. You could fit you know, another one in. It wouldn't be quite so secure, but definitely 3 fitted. Really nice that the this bit here is fully shaped so that none of the switches and the sticks are going to get hit. You're not going to put the power on off switch down by pressing it in. There's a nice shape for it there. You've got a recess for the clamp, and the range extender fits beautifully in there. Space here. In this one, for example, I've put some of my antennas for flying with the H3 3D. You can fit the power supply, either the one that plugs into the wall, or if you've got a DJI car one, you can put that in there. And on this side, it's a perfect size for a Black Pearl FPV monitor. That just sits down like that, screen flush against this block here. It's slightly recessed again. It's going to be kept nice and secure and won't scratch. There's also room for the, as you see, it's sporting the Best M quick release prop guards, the Phantom guards. If you want to take those, they fit there, and there's plenty of room in these corners for it to fit with those on. If you don't have those, then obviously there's even more, and there's plenty of room down here for your, I don't know, whatever you want to put in there, your anemometers, bits and pieces, your phone, your keys, whatever. That's it in P2. Let's whip all this out and show you how to reconfigure it for a P3. So obviously the inserts that it comes with are shaped for the transmitter for the Phantom 2, Phantom 1, and it's just not going to work for the Phantom 3 transmitter, which is a completely different size, shape, and everything else. But what they've done is they've made it so that you can modify it yourself, and that's where these extra blocks come in. So what you need to do is this one here you can remove. It's just held on with some, there's a bit of hot glue in there, so you break the seal on that pretty easily without a problem. And then they've provided double-sided tape, so if you want to reposition it again to go back to a P2, you can do that. One of the ideas I had was if you get some double-sided Velcro tape, hook and loopy stuff, mate it to the bottom and to there, these pieces that you're taking out could be really easily put back in. And if you've got a P2 and a P3, you can make it transferable. So whatever you're going to take out for the day, you can simply swap the blocks out. And then these are held on with the double-sided tape again, which you can just break the seal pretty easily, remove those like that. And then what you would do, you can peel off the backing if you want to make it a permanent fix and secure those in like this. So once you've done that, and if you were going to use it permanently, you obviously, as I say, you secure those in place. You get now a very snug fit where you can just use the blocks to press this through and home, and that holds that transmitter really securely. As you can see, there's not a lot of movement going to happen there at all. And once these are fixed in place, you get a nice rigid thing, and then this will come over again, and you've got that element of protection for the antennas here. So that's a multi-purpose thing. The P3 sits in there. What they've done is they've made it deep enough that the P3 goes in all the way to the bottom fine, and it still is underneath. You do have to just compress the landing gear a little bit. So again, like with all these cases, if you've got the P3 which has that wider stance, I wouldn't store it in here because those legs will be always under a bit of compression, which could cause problems. But yeah, that's it. Quite easy to swap over. Like I say, it could be a permanent fix. You could use Velcro or some other quick, reusable fastening and make it swap backwards and forwards from each one. That layout there means that that top is, if it gets jumped on, dropped or anything else, it's going to be a really good element of protection there. So I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's a very good, very reassuring. Everything is kind of snuck in there. You've got a little extra room for your, I don't know, anemometers and bits and pieces and whatever you want to do. So I quite like that. Like I said, there's a few little things that maybe for the Mark II version could be improved, but overall I'm really liking this strength more than anything else. It would give me confidence about taking it, carry it as a carry-on, or going on some, a bit of off-road trekking with it. So let's talk turkey. How much does all this cost? Oh, that's better. I've had to sit down. I'm getting far too old to stand up for that length of time. So just to show, this is the P3 fits in there. If you're using a sort of gimbal protector lens cover thing, that's no problem. There's plenty of room at both sides. Like I said, it will fit with a battery fitted in as well. But you can just see how like I said, you have to put some tension on there and then just slide it down. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily store it in there myself. But yeah, so this case cost, it's $149, and that's with free shipping in the US, which is a reasonable price. The problem that is always with these things is that if you don't live in the US, the shipping is going to be fairly heavy. I think if you're in Canada or Mexico, I think it's $30-something. But for the rest of the world, I'm afraid it's nearer $70. But Nate at Bestham has said he's sympathetic, and what he's done, I think until the middle of August or so, if you have a look at their website, I will obviously put links where you can find all this stuff down below. He is going to, if you're ordering from the UK, because that's where I'm based, bless him, he has said he will drop the delivery charge to a flat $30 for the next 4 weeks or so. On today's kind of currency calculation, that brings it in at under £120 delivered, which is, I think, a lot more reasonable. So that's great. Obviously, after the middle of August, that will go up. So if you're in Europe, that's going to be that's going to be an issue. DJI are obviously selling a kind of some similar. I haven't got hands on with that one as yet. DJI are selling their own hard shell type case, backpack case, for £149. So you know that does make this one more attractively priced for those of us in the UK. In the US, obviously, you probably have slightly more scope to shop around and look at the different prices. So that's it. Things I really like. I do like this solid foam construction, the strength of it. You've seen my son jumping up and down on it. I would absolutely not have any qualms taking this on an airplane whatsoever. I like the little sort of, you know, the use of the space, the little pockets and bits and pieces at the side. A couple of downsides, the straps could be a little bit more padded, but overall, you know, I quite like it. Like I said, for me, the key thing is if you're going to use this for hiking around and literally throwing it in the back of the car or traveling on the aircraft, this kind of really dense, sturdy foam insert is really good. And it's a lightweight case. It's light. I like this little touch, the little nets here at the top for your putting your props in. You can take a full set and 2 spares in there, you know, which keeps them neat and out of the way. So yeah, there it is. That's the PhantomPak with a K from Bestem USA. I'll put links down below if you want to go and take a look at them. Thank you very much to Bestem for sending it through. That's very much appreciated. But as ever with these reviews, it was a no strings attached sort of thing. They haven't seen sight of this. It's all my opinion. That's the deal if you want to send something through. There we go. Thank you very much. I hope you found that useful. New product to the sort of the lineup of packs out there. One thing I didn't check. Should we just see? Oh, can you? Oh, yeah, you probably could actually. You can just about fit your Phantom. The wider P3, the P2 would be fine. The wider legs on the P3 mean if you find the right set of strakes there, you could just about take off from the top of it as well. So there's an added bonus. Although, to be honest, I think I'd trade that off for the security that it provides. There we go. Many thanks indeed for watching. Thanks to everyone who's a subscriber. Particular thanks to all those people who support the channel patrons who make it possible to do all sorts of brilliant videos for you, particularly, and anyone who's ever kind of clicked on any of the links down below that helped me out as well. Many thanks indeed, and I'll see you again soon back on the kitchen table. Until then, cheers.